How you doing, man? I'm
Pretty
G.
good,
What's
sir.
up? What's going on? How you
Moon
doing?
Choi.
Okay, your name's Moon Choi.
Yes, sir.
All right, Moon. We're here today. Moon is a YMCA, Greater Des Moines YMCA member. Moon is he's an acquaintance of mine. I've watched him work in the gym. He works with another person I had the pleasure of interviewing, Adrian Wright. He's his workout partner. Uh, uh, this man here, as far as I see, is very intense in the gym, and I've asked him to interview with regard to weightlifting, powerlifting particularly, and his specialty, which is the bench press. And we're going to talk about everything that has to do with him becoming a better bench presser based on what he believes and where he's going to go with it. Also, we're also going to talk about, he's going to give me some background on him with regard to what he does, a little short stuff what he does, and how much time he puts into training. So, Moon, can you tell me where you're from originally and so forth, where you're from, and how many years you spent in Des Moines, where do you live at?
Yeah, well, I'm originally from South Korea.
Okay,
I came here when I was 11,
cool.
and I lived in Ames for a long time. Went to school there. So basically, I lived in Iowa basically all my life since I moved here. So I'm definitely an Iowan. I've been here over 30 years.
Uh-huh.
For so far as my background goes, yeah, this is my home. Um,
Hey, cool. Cool. Hey, when did you start getting into? Are you an athlete? What kind of athletics are you into?
Well, growing up in school, I wasn't into that
No kid, no
sports.
Okay.
I was kind of I got mixed up with a bad crowd,
Okay.
peer pressure thing. Especially like being here at 11. No language, no culture. I had to start brand new, so a little peer pressure kind of got to me. But
Right.
but but I mean, no regrets. I'm good now. I mean, it's a good experience.
A bad experience turned a good experience.
Yes, sir.
That put a smile on it. Hey, so you weren't really into athletics at that time. When did you decide to get into weightlifting?
Well, I first started working out when I was about 19.
Okay, all right.
And of course, when I first started out, I just want to have a big biceps. So I just want to look good, like you see on a magazine or
Bodybuilding
TV.
kind of
Yeah.
thing? Okay, all right.
So I started at 18, not so serious.
Right.
Well, 18 or 19. I've just been kind of a recreational weightlifter for a while, and then like middle of 20s,
Right.
I started to get a little serious.
What was it that turned you to the serious stuff? Because when serious, you mean like not doing it for the bodybuilding, but
Yeah.
define what is serious. What was serious?
Oh, it became part of my life. It
Oh.
became a routine. Whereas I became very dedicated, and I was consistent. I want to train at least 4 or 5 days a week. So I always went to the gym 5 days a week, 4 to 5 days, and I try to be dedicated. And yeah, I think I became a little bit dedicated. So yeah, started at 18, got serious probably in like middle 20s,
Right.
and I'm in my 40s now, and I've been at it since.
Oh man, that's 20 years. That's about 20 years.
20 plus years. Because I'm
Whoa.
45.
Oh, okay, all right, good, cool. Dude, that's a lot of years. That's a lot of years.
Well, like I said, it became part of my life. I mean, like if I didn't train, if I missed training, I would get that guilty conscience.
How many hours? I know you always said 4 or 5
Days a week.
days a week. How many hours a day would you train?
Well, now, I mean, I like to train at least 2 hours.
Just 2 hours.
2 hours, but I'm at the gym about 3 hours. I'll come in, I'll do a little warm up.
Right.
So lift for 2 hours, and then I'll finish up with a little bit of abs, and then I go downstairs, I sweat a little bit, and then shower.
Right.
So I mean, I'm in the gym for a good 3 hours, but I like to train for at least 2 hours each training day.
When you talk about training, you also include not just the training, the lifting, but also the cool down and
Yeah.
shit. So you're
Little
basically
cool down.
training for 3 hours. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
something like that.
Yeah.
But
2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so that's about anywhere from 12 to 15 hours a week. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this is
That's your
this is
life.
like my home.
I like that.
I like coming in here, and
Just
actually it became a sanity keeper. I mean,
Why? Now you open up. What's Saturday
oh
how?
shoot! I
Saturday
mean,
how, brother?
if I didn't train and come to the gym,
Yeah.
I think I would be a different person.
I see the Moon Delivery ink on your hat. Is that your business?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're a boss of
It's just small.
small. That's
Small
small.
trucking company.
Mhm.
I'm an owner and operator myself, and I got one driver,
Right,
just with
right.
two trucks.
Cool beans, cool beans, cool beans. All right, man. So basically, this is how you get your head real refocused.
Oh yeah, cause it seems like I'm kind of uptight,
Yeah, yeah. Well, business, man.
and this is a stress reliever and also a sanity keeper for me. Like I keep saying,
Well,
it keeps me in check.
just let you know, you're with the. I was a business owner for 6 years. I owned a gym. I have a really successful gym, and I sold it. So I feel you, man.
So
I know, I know.
It's hard to please people, and when you got your own gig, it's pretty tough, especially when you're small. When you're a small business owner, it's hard to compete with the big guys.
Yes, it is. So you come. So the gym thing, when you get through with it, it really does make you feel a lot better about everything.
Oh yes, sir. I guess I'm almost addicted to it. I guess endorphin or whatever. I mean, it makes me feel better.
Well, we can talk about that too. As a matter of fact, since you brought it up, keep that in your head about the endorphin thing. We'll get into that later. We talked about that a little bit before. Just let the audience know. Moon and I had a little bit of talk when he was in his environment. He was lifting. He gave me about 2 or 3 minutes when I was asking him, about 10 minutes. I was asking him about interviewing with me, and he already told me that he's really, really, really into the idea of making sure that everything works for him in lifting because he wants to feel that rush. Okay, and he said, and the rush is interesting. We're going to get into that later. Moon, you told me about your how dedicated you are and the hours that you have, and I appreciate that. We also talked before about you being getting into a different level of lifting. You lift the press, and if you wouldn't mind telling me a little bit about, press is a very unique, it's very basic.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's also a very powerful center portion of powerlifting. Okay, very spectacular in that sense.
Yeah.
Could you tell me tell me a little bit about being a power lifter who specializes in bench pressing?
God, you made it sound like I am a specialist. I don't feel that way. I mean, I've been benching a long time, so I guess I'm kind of okay with myself. At 181 weight class, pushing the weight 300-pound area. That's not bad, but I never thought it. I mean, I always feel like I could do more. But God, I was gonna say something about the powerlifting. Oh, as far as the powerlifting goes, it actually requires a lot of technique, and I feel that I have some technique, but I feel like I could always improve.
Well, I don't know a whole lot. I mean, I lift for the bench, but tell me about what what are the things? Give me like a core principle, some principles for cats who really don't.
Well,
what are the basic stuff you gotta have?
Yeah, well, technique. I mean, first of all, like I always tuck my shoulders in. A lot of people just bench flat back. No, technique meaning tuck your shoulders in. That way you can use more of your thighs and back and shoulders. That's why you tuck your shoulders in.
Gotcha.
People think you're arching your back, but it's not. You're just tucking your shoulders in. When you do that, you look like you're arching your back. But I mean, when you go to the meet, your butt has to be down anyway. Feet planted, butt down, and pause. So definitely requires good technique. And another thing that a lot of people don't realize is that a successful bencher use a lot of your legs.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh yeah, a lot of leg power.
How do they use the leg power in that posture?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. I mean, you kind of gotta keep training, and then you'll find that spot. But when I like myself, I use a lot of my legs. Sometimes that's why my butt kind of comes up because I'm using when I struggle with a certain heavy weight, I'm using legs, so my butt comes up. But,
Yeah.
I mean that kind of concept. So like when you come down with the weight on the bench press, when you go up, you wanna bring out you bring out the leg power from like like your heels. Just gonna transfer that energy.
Right.
Like when you bench, so you're not just using your upper body, man. You're using your legs too. You just stay tight with the legs and go up using your legs too.
It's the first time because I know you got to keep that back flat and the butt flat. It's the first time I know you get to charge the muscles. You charge through the legs.
At the gym, I'm not that strict. My butt comes off here all the time. But at the competition, I'll clean it up. I'll do it right. But what's funny is that like the Adrian that you interview, he's strong. I mean, he's cock strong. I mean, he's got tremendous strength.
To my Adrian?
Yes, yes, sir. But thing about him is that he doesn't use legs. He's all upper body. That's why. But he's. I mean, I'm not knocking him down. He's a badass because he can do bench.
He can charge.
He can bench 500, and he's been doing it like that. But I try to kind of. I don't do that anymore. I try to tell him to use the legs, but you can't really change him because he's been doing it his way for a long time.
Right.
But if Adrian would use his legs, he would be so much powerful.
And I understand you guys talk to each other. That's what you guys do. Even though he may not do it,
yeah,
he actually is inspired by you always pushing him to try.
Yeah, I do push him. Yeah,
yeah. So that works out.
Yes, sir. So yeah,
that information is awesome. Question: if you had to close your eyes right now and imagine yourself as a bench press person, as a bench press powerlifter, the weight or whatever it is that you want to lift, if you close your eyes right now, okay, where would that be? What weight would you say, if you being at the best that you can be, that you can lift?
400 plus.
400 plus.
I want to be back in the 400 club.
You want to be in that club.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, you were in there before?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, let me explore some more. What is the largest weight that you lifted before? I mean, bench press that you lifted.
I've done 445.
So you've been.
But not pausing. I mean, those just at the gym, just come down and, with the speed. And not at the competition.
But training, you've actually been able to do 445, even though it's not to the standards of most competitions.
Oh, yeah. And I've done a lot more with the shirt. Bench shirt, we call it the equipped.
What's a bench shirt? I don't know what that is.
Oh, bench. A lot of powerlifters use a bench shirt. It's a shirt that you wear. It's basically it supports your shoulders. It's really thick too. I mean, back in the days it used to be a denim, but now it's gotten really sophisticated. They use some heavy material.
Right.
What it does is like when you put the shirt on, when you come down with the weight, the negative, it supports your shoulders. So when you come down with the weight, you're not really using much of your energy. Therefore, even though, let's say I can only bench 400 with the shirt on, I can bench 500 plus.
Wow.
I mean, I've done 556 with the shirt on. On year 2010, I went to Chicago National Meet. I did 556 with the shirt on.
Do they allow the shirt on?
Oh, yeah. They have a meet with, they got to be quick. Yeah, they have a lot of meets have shirt or a shirt without shirt. They call equipped means shirt. Unequipped means raw.
Okay, unequipped means raw. Okay,
yeah, raw meaning just no shirt.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of meets have that, and yeah, I've done both meets. I've done raw and I've done equipped, but I'm more of a raw lifter.
Right, but you can do both. Yeah. So basically, if you had to close your eyes and imagine what it'd be, you have equipped and raw.
Yeah.
And if you would say raw, it would be a 400 plus.
Oh yeah.
445 maybe?
That'd be huge. I mean, I'll be stoked.
But 400 plus, whatever you felt good that day, okay?
See, 400 plates is 405, so I wanna,
gotcha.
Always able to do that with, even on a sick day.
Gotcha. You want that to be your mean.
Right.
If you at your best. And when you talk about equipped, okay, what would you like? What if you close your eyes?
Equipped? Well, I'll tell you what, man. I was
done 550 before, right?
I've done 556 with the shirt, and I know I can get up to 600.
And I love that word. You said you can.
Oh yeah, because I'm a pretty good lifter with the shirt. I mean,
without the shirt, you can get. Without the shirt, if you had the backup.
Without the shirt, I'm almost 400 right now. But I mean, I want to get above that. I want to.
So that's the unequipped will actually be a lot better as long as the equipped would be a lot better if you could get your raw down. If your raw was down, the equipped is going to be a whole lot more. Am I correct? Or is that
no, not really. No.
What are the things you have to work on to be a good equipped lifter as opposed to being a good raw?
Think about the equipped bench press.
Yeah.
Them guys always wear a shirt. So when they train, you wear a shirt and train. And when you do that, when you wear a shirt all the time in bench press, you kind of get adapted to that.
What?
So let's say you wear a shirt and bench all the time, you're not going to be that strong on a raw. Like if you take the shirt off, you're really not going to be that strong because you're so used to wearing shirt.
But if you are a strong raw person, does that translate into being a stronger equipped person?
Yes, I mean, of course, you gotta train. You gotta train with the shirt. But yeah, the raw bench. If you're strong raw bench, you're gonna be successful equipped bench. Cause raw power is where it's at.
Where is that?
Anybody can put a shirt on and bench press, 50,
Wow.
50 pound or 100 pound more than what you normally do.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Oh yes, oh yes. There's guys that does 1,000 pounds with the shirt.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, nowadays if you go to the meet, benching 700 pound or so, 800 pound is very very common.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, because just about like 10 years ago, when you can bench like 500 or 600
That was
pounds
a
with
big
your
deal,
shirt
yeah, I
on,
remember that.
yeah, it was a huge deal. But
Big deal.
now, that's nothing.
Unbelievable.
It has to do with the technology too, because shirts gotten more sophisticated. They come out with like triple layer. I mean, things like that.
How about I gotta ask because you look really healthy. How's you got any nutrition? We got to talk about your highest, your best. I mean, weightlifting without nutrition is nothing. You gotta eat right. And how about you when you talk about nutrition? Where are you at with that? If I had to give it a 10, right now, if you to reach a 10,
Yeah.
okay, what does a 10 nutrition look like to you? 10 meaning the highest you can go, the best nutrition you could ever have.
Yeah.
Where's that at with you? Where are you at?
You mean like as far as the point scale goes?
As far as you being able to have everything that you needed nutrition wise,
Yeah.
to be able to get in your dream.
Oh,
Okay,
shoot.
where could you be? Where would you be at?
Well, I'll tell you what. Well, first of all, my diet's horrible. My diet's really, really horrible.
Well, no, let's look. I want to talk. We'll talk about that. I want to know what your perfect diet. What would it be? Your perfect diet. What would tell me about your perfect diet?
You mean like as far as like the food and
yeah?
what would it be?
Oh, yeah. Tell me what I'm interested. I'm interested in finding out.
Complex carb.
Complex carb.
Okay. Stick with the white meat instead of the red meat.
Okay.
So meaning turkey and chicken.
Right.
So good source of protein and complex carb will be huge for me. But that's the thing about dieting. Dieting takes another level of discipline, and I feel like I don't have that.
Where are you at right now with your discipline with that?
Oh, 1 through 10 scale or whatever, my diet probably would be 4 or 3, just for the fact that I eat out. I eat out 3 times a day.
Is that because of the stress you have for your business, or?
No, it's
just discipline.
Yeah, I don't like to cook, and if I say because I'm single, it may sound like because I'm using that as excuse. But I've been single for a long time, and tell you the truth, G, I love eating out. Eating out is one of my favorite thing to do. It really is, and it just became part of my life again. I mean, it's.
Understood.
Like I will spend my last dollar on food.
I like to eat food.
But I really love to, someday just get on a strict diet.
Gentlemen, tell me about your right now. Where do you think you are with regard to your raw lifter? Okay, where are you? And we'll stick to that. Where are you with regard to your present state of training and your present state of? Let me back up. When is your next competition?
It's August 17th,
Okay,
so it's about 8 weeks out.
Okay, so
it's coming up very shortly.
Where are you right now in respect to that? Giving you a little bit of a Where are you at right now with that? With right now, are you where you want to be with regard to training for that?
No, sir. Right now, no. I'm not nearly where I should be or where I want it to be.
Do you prepare yourself? Do you have a phased preparation?
Yes.
Okay, can you talk about your phased preparation?
Well, you cycle. I mean, before the meet, I'm 16 weeks out before the meet. Okay. That's when you want to crank it up and start training. Training heavy. Well, first of all, this year we started late, and my strength is definitely not there. I mean, I've been grinding it out here last few weeks, but I keep missing on my top set, so that's kind of been discouraging. But I don't think I'm peaked out right now, but I don't know. That's the thing about the strength. One week, you feel like you're Superman, and the next week you come in and you're sluggish and you don't have it. And I've been feeling like that for the last couple weeks.
Gotcha.
I try to fire up and get amped up and go get after it, but
Right.
just kept missing my top set.
Sorry, I just wanted to. Hey, good to see you. How you doing, Moon?
Mr. Brent.
I'm good, bro. Hey, this is what we do here. And here in this place, everybody knows each other. Everybody's like a family when it comes to lifting.
Yes, sir.
Um,
So yeah, as far as my level right now,
if you had to go from 10 being you're on your schedule, planning schedule to get where, from 10 to whatever, 10 being the best, you're at that, where you at right now with that?
I'll probably say about 6.
So you're at a 6. That's better than nutrition.
Yeah.
You're doing all right.
But
That's all right.
before all these meets that I've been through, I always ate like that.
So
Never really. I'm not a good dieter.
But you've been happy with your performances in those things.
Yeah, a lot of times when I do go to the meet, I do okay, but of course, I always feel like I'm never ready and just not.
Is that a feeling that you normally have, bro? When it comes down to your reputation, you don't really feel you're ready when you walk in there?
Oh yeah.
Does that interfere with you being able to perform? Because a lot of
Oh
people,
yeah, sometimes it does, but I block that out and I try to get amped and get after it. So I mean, the meets I do okay for. I mean, thank God. I mean,
your last meet was when?
last year, August.
And how'd you do with that meet?
I did well. I mean, I almost choked.
What was your goal? And then
I wanted to get close to about 400 bench.
Okay.
So I opened at 385.
Okay.
And I almost choked because they give you 3 attempts. First 2 attempts, I missed it.
Right.
And my third and final attempt, I pressed 385 and got that.
Okay. All right.
So I got 385 last year and I placed first. So I did okay.
Yeah, I guess that's okay, man.
Yeah. So it turned out to be a pretty good meet last year actually because I was thinking, gosh, I'm gonna choke, but I did a successful lift on the third attempt and I placed first. So it turned out to be a real good meet. And they gave me the best lifter award at a lightweight, and they gave my partner Adrian the best lifter award in heavyweight. Awesome. So we came out very well.
Were you training out of YMCA Greater Des Moines at that time?
Yes, sir.
And did they? I hope they gave you some celebration for that. Well, they should. Maybe they didn't know, but I know. So
yeah.
When you do it this year, I'll be there. Let's see. I'll make it my business to be there. Back to your plan. Do you always feel like you're off on your plan, or is this right now before this meet you feel uncommonly a little off on where you're supposed to be with your?
Yeah, I feel that way.
Is there
I definitely feel like off.
A little off like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that the big deal with this is most of it has to do with how you feel about your your skill level right now? Do you think it's about? It sounds to me like it's like you know what you're supposed to do, but for some reason, mentally, you're not quite on it.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Yes, sir. I think that the mental aspect is definitely, I think that's a huge factor.
And the funny thing about it is, I'm going to ask you a question and tell you why I asked it. It seems like where you're at, though, where you normally should be at is a rational way of dealing with it. But I think it sounds like because you're trying to break. Let me back up. We've talked about where you want to be and where you're supposed to be and the goals that you want to have.
Yeah.
We've also talked about it being somewhat of a mental thing to get there. Do you think there's a break between you physically being able to capture your goal? Because physically, you've already told me, you know you can do it, okay? But it seems mentally, it might be you don't quite know how. And
yeah, maybe. I mean, I thought I was pretty good at firing myself up. I mean, I actually had to learn that from a powerlifter a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. How do you do it? How do you normally successfully get yourself?
Well, I try to let that adrenaline flow, meaning somehow fire up and psych up and all that. I mean, this might sound kind of terrible, but a lot of times I'm really strong if I'm angry.
Yeah. Okay. So now,
I mean, I think about I get angry at the weight, or I just kind of get mad.
Mm-hmm.
Then I tell you what, then I'm pretty fired up, and I can. If I would have gotten angry today and tried that 400, I think I would have got it. And I tried to fire up, but I just couldn't really fire up, man. I tried. Gee.
The anger at you. That's interesting. Did you know that? Maybe you do know this. In many different disciplines, when it comes down to physicality,
Yeah.
Many people say that anger is not something that you want to have, but there are the more in-depth disciplines of mental.
Yeah.
It's an emotion, and emotions are energy, and if you can find a way to capture that energy, and direct it.
Oh,
where
I
you
can
want
feed
it to
off
go.
of that.
It sounds like you already kind of know how to do that. I wonder. You've obviously done it consistently because you remember when I get angry, I can do it.
Yeah.
But do you remember how do you remember how you used to get angry? Do you have a consistent way of finding that emotion?
Oh yeah. I have some sort of method.
Can you talk about one?
Oh, I think about the people that have doubted me, or I think about how people would say, no, you can't do that, you can't do it. That motivates me when people say I can't do it.
Right.
That motivates me. That's I try to feed off that. Then I get a little, that mad, and just you know,
There's a lull
if that
between.
makes any sense.
No, it does. There's a lull between each set that you normally work
Yeah.
with and thing. For instance, if you got your first lift at 385, okay, or you did one lift at 350, okay, and then because sometimes it's cumulative weight. I know that. Well, let's ask, how do they score? Is it the highest weight or is it the highest accumulated weight that you get based?
No, it's just highest weight.
Okay.
Highest weight at your weight class and your age group.
In your age group.
Yeah.
Have they ever done it where it's an accumulation of weight? Have you ever been in a competition like that?
Yeah.
How many weights that
if you do squats and deadlift and bench, all three meet.
It's all three together.
Then it's accumulation score.
Okay,
That's how they do it. But when you do only a single lift, like myself doing a bench, then you get the whatever you did the highest.
And in the other competitions, if you did all three, if you lifted high on one and you were doing the front, you wouldn't lift again unless somebody could outlift you on that weight, because you would need to do it 3 times because you got the highest lift.
Yeah.
But do guys normally do more?
Yeah.
Okay, so they do a bunch.
Because you can break a world record.
Gotcha. I was wondering, because does that take away their energy for their lifts? That's what I was wondering.
Oh yeah, probably. Yes.
Well, that being said, you do it. You focus on the big one, and it's the weight. So,
because weightlifters are competitive, man.
Boy,
it's a competition.
Well, we'll talk about that too. I'm curious. Do you know if you say it's the context you just gave me, and I want to make it solid, is that you normally say, hey, listen, thinking about somebody telling me I can't do it fires me up. Has that worked for you more than once in a competition?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
even the gym. I mean, a lot of times when I'm training, I can kind of fire myself up, or,
Dude, you just told me how. You just got it. You just did it.
Huh?
You just said it. What really gets you going is you can find a context for someone telling you that you can't do it.
Yeah.
That really does it for you.
Oh shoot, yes.
That's kind of weird, but you telling you no. If somebody tells Moon no, Moon gonna get it. That's basically what it is. Makes sense for businessman. Well, that being said, you said you might be interested in. Back up. Can you please tell me what normally? 16 weeks out, you begin doing heavy work.
Yeah.
If you had to break your training, do you ever break your training into phases?
Oh yeah, you gotta.
Tell me the phases that you have in the 16-week thing. And then when you tell me the phases, what phase would you be in? But first, tell me what the phases are.
You mean like a training method, how you cycle and stuff like that?
I was talking. You call it a cycle. Maybe we're talking about the same thing. I was talking about, for example, and I don't want you to use Adrian for example, but Adrian told me that he has a smart where he has 4 steps. He says, first I want to know where I'm at. So it's kind of a raw step, and he used a couple of weeks of conditioning to get there, and he throws the raw out. Once that happens, he knows where his potential is. He matches up where he's going to go, and he breaks into a conditioning.
Yeah, so Adrian might be more technical than I am.
Well, talk to me about how do you do it?
Well, I guess my method is cycling off.
What's the cycling?
Like before the meet, 16 weeks out. Yeah, you train heavy.
What is heavy training?
No more than 5 reps. I always pyramid up.
Oh, so heavy is the weight.
Yes.
Got it.
Always heavy train. No lightweight for 10 reps or stuff like that. If you just many reps, all I'll do is 5s. and I'll pyramid up. Start at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Got it.
And well, anyway, yeah, like Adrian is kind of more technical like that, but like me,
And you actually 5, 4, 3, 1. 1 is the heaviest weight you got. So you go 5 at say at 300, then 4 at 325. And
yes, I'll make
3
30-pound jumps.
30-pound jumps. Okay.
So if my top says 400, 400 will be my last set, and then set before that it'll be 370 for double. Set before that it'll be 340 for triple.
How many days a week do you do this?
Well, I started doing this just a few weeks ago, because before that I was kind of doing fives and kind of training a little light.
All right. But so as you get more to the pyramid, as it gets closer and closer to the meat,
Yeah.
and you wait to go up to 30, you try and get up.
Yeah, I'm trying to get used to the heavy weights and get the singles.
Got it. So you can charge your muscles with one big weight without having to warm it.
But as far as the weightlifting goes, you can't train like that though all the time.
Can't train like what? Train like what?
Well, I mean, you can't train heavy all the time. You gotta like myself before the meet, 16 weeks out. I mean, I train heavy all the time. But after the meet, I'll back off.
Oh, okay.
You want to back off for about at least a month. Meaning lighten up the weights, give your joints a little break, because when you train heavy all like that, and the wear and tear will catch up.
Gotcha.
So you want to back off for about a month, 4 to 6 weeks. Just start training light, do a lot of tens. Just back off with a lot of weight. Like if I was doing 400 for single, no, don't do singles. Just do maybe tens with 315. Just lightweight. Just give yourself a little break.
Gotcha.
Let your joints heal. Do that for about 6 weeks, and then I'll come back. Then I'll gradually jump up. Start kind of gradually training a little bit heavy. Yeah, it's kind of like the peaking cycle. You want to peak at the meet. So 16 weeks on, you crank it out, and then hopefully you peak at the meet, and then after the meet you back off, man. Give yourself joints and break.
Do you feel that you say? I remember we talked about between if you get like you said, you have 3 attempts, you're gonna go 3 times.
Yeah.
You only got one. You got one event, so you're gonna go for it.
Yeah.
Is there any time that is there any we talked about before? Is there any room for a certain type of breathing or meditation method that you think would help you either in training or in competition that you might be interested in? We talked something about Vedic stuff, that Vedic the seated pranayama stuff.
Sure.
And for power, we talked about it. Have you ever heard of anything like that? They call it focus.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Kind of,
sort of, but I wasn't really too familiar with it until you kind of explained it to me. But yeah, I always want to kind of improve on my breathing and my mental, my mental. I don't know, how do you say it? Clear your mental, or I mean.
Focus.
Yeah, focus.
Focus attention.
I mean, I kind of want to try the yoga just for the sake that just want to.
How about you? How does that? It is, there's an off season. Well, for healing, there's a certain amount of flexibility.
Yeah.
It's got to have a certain for make sure you don't get hurt.
Yeah.
But for the most part, is flexibility a part of your regimen right now, or
no?
Not really.
No.
Do you think it might? Do you think if it was, that it might be able to help you? At least, were you willing to experiment with it on the off season?
Oh yes, sir.
Get it right.
Plus, I'm at the age, I mean, if I was in 20s or 30s before, I would just train, just lift weight, do a little stretch. I mean, I probably don't need to utilize like yoga or other stuff. But now, I'm in my 40s and my body's changing.
You can still do it. You do know you can still do it.
Right. I mean, I have friends that are 50s are still powerlifting.
But you have to. You figured out. Yeah, I can do it, but I can't do it like I did when I was 20.
Right. Well, I mean, but my passion is to train the powerlift. I mean, I like to train heavy, and I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna keep training heavy until my body can't take it no more. I listen to my body now. Before younger days, I never listened to my body. I was gung ho. I always push. But now I learned to back off. If it hurts, I back off and I work around it. So.
Well, there's a thing called focused attention exercises. They call it internal skill. And there's a thing called herbal remedies. What they call it, actually call it traditional Chinese medicine, combat sports injury medicine.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any, what the pranayama does, or the breathing yoga does, is it allows you to be in the moment, at the moment, no place else. And it builds your lung capacity to the point where in that you can within, if you do it at least, I would say 30 minutes to an hour a day for 3 months, it literally takes, I would say, about increase your lung capacity by 25%.
Wow.
Okay, so that's what pranayama, and it's been known to do more. It reverses your immune system to the positive, so you don't get sick. Okay, and it opens up it sends the proper enzymes and stuff to your
Yeah.
joints. It allows your joints to be fluid and
Oh man,
repair
that sounds all
themselves.
good.
Charges the blood vessels at the lowest level, closest to the bone and joint and muscle, especially at the small point, so that it constantly gets fed. So that's what pranayama yoga does.
Yeah.
If you're willing to go through the discipline. The second discipline is learning how to use and make and use liniment on your body, discipline before and after you lift, so that you have quick healing. So that the
Yeah.
muscle repair is that much faster.
Oh
So you
yeah.
can train. That's what not just a theory. That is, when application done with properly done, that's what those things do. Having explained that to you, do you think that might be something that you might be interested in with regard to only and specifically to you reaching your goals as a powerlifting bench presser? Do you
Yes,
think that might
sir.
be something that might help
I
you?
think that would be awesome.
Well, what I'm going to do as a coach, wellness coach, when you are ready after competition, right now you're starting for competition and there's no injuries, so
Yeah.
you're good to go. But after competition, you shouldn't experiment with your training cycle before competition.
Yeah.
But after the competition, I'm wondering if that would be something you're interested in me working with you with. Okay, we can work the hours out after competition, but you have interest in something we can work with to integrate into your normal regimen of training,
Yes,
so that you
sir.
can make it part of your. You can't take the whole thing. You take what you need to be part of what you do to make you a better work lifter. Do you think
Oh
that'd be
yeah,
something you
gee,
should?
that sounds great. I mean, I always want to improve on my breathing and the flexibility and improve your immune system and all that.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
it's
oh,
everything. It's everything.
and it's all natural way.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh
It's big
my
time natural.
goodness.
It just requires, like in anything, you have
Yeah,
to add that to your regimen.
yeah,
And the reason why I'm asking is because part of it is it also will help you improve your diet. That's what
yeah,
now you can. I want you to know you can eat out. You just have to know where you have to eat
yeah. I
the right
know.
stuff.
I
But you
know. I
can eat
don't.
out, and also you don't always have to eat beautifully and nutritious all the time.
Right.
If you worked for it and you have the proper cardio with it, you
Yeah.
can always eat
Yeah.
what you want to eat. You just gotta. If you go too nutritionist,
Yeah.
and it's not you don't have a modicum, no medium, no balance,
Right. Right.
you'll get sick doing that stuff.
Oh
You gotta
yeah.
make sure.
No, you gotta have like a
There you
day
go.
day of cheating days,
You
and
got to.
I think I have knowledge and
I think you.
and discipline to do it, but I just haven't been able to get into that level of just wanting to diet like that.
Well, another thing too, I want you to think about and not really get into it. You might want to take in smaller competitions during the year. Not competitions that have to do with something that's so everybody sees. It might be a competition within your own family of
Oh,
weightlifters,
sure,
but you might
okay,
want to use that as a suggestion. Only for one reason.
yeah,
Competition, the Latin root, not to educate you, but the Latin root of competition means to seek together. And
stick
to
together,
seek together, what that means basically is by you working with another person,
yeah.
you find out who you really are.
Oh,
And so
makes
that's
sense.
what Latin means for it.
Yeah,
Interject that into the conversation only because we can, as long as you're already an intrinsic meaning you do it for the love of the sport.
yeah,
You're already that way, so you don't have to capture that in your personality. It's already a part of your training personality. What we want, and your social setting also, but not as much as it needs to be. I think your personality traits are great for the lifting. I think what right now we're going to work on is the social stuff, and that is competition.
yeah.
And you do one competition a year, and that's even though you love the sport so much, but maybe sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you got to have those in between little itty bitty goals.
Yeah.
In between,
Okay.
not a big competition, like a little tiny one.
Yeah.
Maybe you make one up. Okay, maybe the Y should make one up a little
Maybe
bit.
that's what, that's a great idea.
And
I
so
think
you
back in
got
the day they used to.
once a quarter, okay, so that you build up and you get more familiar with the techniques that you're trying to work towards.
Yeah.
That you can eliminate some of the breathing techniques, eliminate some of this, refine some of your other stuff, so that maybe when you go the next year, you might meet your goal. What do you think about that?
That sounds great. I know that makes sense. You know.
Let's think about it. let's do it. If it runs through your head again after competition, before I ask you one, say, gee, let's do that. And
Yeah, gee, I
we'll
think you'd
put
be a
it
great
together.
person to start a little bench meet at the Y for the members and people.
Well, I'm on the
That'd be,
outside of the family, and I think that may make it a lot easier for me because
yeah,
I'm familiar. I do lift with that. I
that'd
lift
be a
for,
good marketing for the Y too. But
well, most of it, that's really good, but very interested in the members being able to reach their goals, as it says on the board,
yeah,
mental, spiritual, and
yeah,
physical, and sometimes competition.
yeah.
Moon, I think you gave me a great interview, man. I mean, that was an awesome interview.
Really?
Yeah, that
I
was, yeah, that was awesome. I really like the fact that you helped us out. This is Moon Chin. I got it right?
Choi,
Moon Choi.
Choi.
Got it. This is Moon Choi, Mr. Moon Choi, okay, of Moon Delivery Inc. Okay, so if
Yes,
you need some
sir.
deliveries, you need to go to this man because he's a small business owner, and the president says we got to build our small business. And that being said, he's also a weightlifter. He won first place last year at the
State Fair
State
meet.
Fair meet in Iowa, in Des Moines, and he's going back for another try. Hopefully, the conversation we had today will be a mean and help him get where he needs to go to, and then next year he'll be able to go even further. This is Gurjot Singh, signing off from Wexford University. I am a ADD sports psychology student and working on a class for precision communications. Thank you very much.